I'm Claudia, and welcome to the Real Woman of Philadelphia on pauladine.com. Is there one vegetable that you've never liked, that you hated as a child, or one that no matter how you prepare it, your family hates it, you can't get them to eat it no matter what you do? Well, I've got a recipe for a side dish that we're going to make using 1/3 less fat chive and onion Philadelphia cream cheese. And even if you don't know beans about cooking with cream cheese, you're going to find it easy to incorporate this cream cheese into this meal, and your family's going to enjoy it for a long time to come. We're going to use it to make an old Southern favorite new again. What am I talking about? The ever so misunderstood butter bean. These are commonly known as Fort Hook lima beans, but down south we call them butter beans, and a lot of people really don't like them. And I think that's because they've had a bad experience with them because they weren't either seasoned the right way or they weren't cooked properly. But I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised when you see how they come out when you blend them with the chive and onion Philadelphia cream cheese, 2 smoked meats, and some fresh chopped onions. Because we're going to be using 2 fats when we make the beans, I've chosen the 1/3 less fat Philadelphia cream cheese because we're going to add bacon, some bacon flakes, and some diced ham that's going to give a nice smoky flavor to these beans. For this particular recipe, you can use either the dry beans as I'm using today, or you can use canned butter beans, which will cut down on a whole bunch of work and your cooking time. Now, the thing about butter beans is that you have to cook them traditionally for a long time for that creaminess to start to develop, but we're going to cut down on that with the Philadelphia cream cheese. They're going to be nice and creamy and delicious. So the canned beans will work just as well as the dried beans. But what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've cooked down my dried beans. I have 32 ounces of dried lima beans that I put into a saucepan over medium boil for about 30-40 minutes. I've seasoned the water with the silly salt so that as the water boils and cooks the beans, the flavoring, this wonderful dry seasoning is just absorbed right into those fresh beans. I call them better butter beans, y'all. And now we're going to go ahead and start putting them together. Basically, you're going to need, again, the 16 ounces of the beans, 2 meats, your favorite smoked meats. I'm using bacon and ham. I'm actually using Oscar Mayer bacon and Oscar Mayer carving board ham. And we're just going to get everything right down into our casserole dish, mix it up, let it cook for a few minutes, and then we're going to be ready to enjoy these butter beans. So I'm going to start by getting our ham and our bacon right down into the pan. And now we're going to add our onions, and on top of that we're going to put our cream cheese. So I'm just going to go ahead and I just want to let this go until our fats start to render. Our bacon is going to start to crisp up a little bit, and we're going to release all of the flavor from that ham, those smoked flavors, so that when we put our beans on, the beans are going to immediately soak it up after we put the cream cheese in. You know, everything tastes so much better when with Philadelphia cream cheese. Even being in this community, I love coming here and sharing recipes and just talking with friends. You know, we talk about some everything: food, family, vacations, and anything else that we can come up with. And it all started with this, with Philadelphia cream cheese. Whenever someone's troubled or having a bad time, you know, I always say to them, okay, calm down, put a little cream cheese on it, everything's going to be okay. And then before you know it, we're laughing and their spirits are lifted and we're moving right along. So I guess you can say that Philadelphia cream cheese has made my life better. I know that it has enriched my life because I have forged some forever and a day friendships, and all because of this product. And it's just awesome. Well, it's past awesome, actually. I think it's really epic at this point. Just epic in proportions. Now it's time to add the cream cheese right on top of our onions and our bacon and our ham. You know, I could never figure out why there's not a cream cheese, a bacon cream cheese flavor, because Philadelphia cream cheese works so well with bacon. Makes everything taste great, but when you specifically use it with bacon, man, it is a knockout. My grandmother was French Creole. Her name was Mary Lazon. And she could cook anything. She could make a boot taste good, y'all. I'm telling you, she just had a hand for it. And one of her favorites was butter beans. Now, let me just give you a little background. Cooking is the be-all, end-all in the Creole culture. And Mondays are known as red bean Mondays. Tuesdays are known as butter bean Tuesdays. And that's because the old French Creole women used to historically do their laundry on Monday. My grandmother was one of those women that did that. So they had to be outside hitting the laundry on rocks, and so they couldn't be inside watching babysitting a pot. So they would put something that was long cooking and that they could just put in the pot and not have to watch it, and that was red beans. And Tuesday, they would do the ironing. Another instance where they need to be able to put a pot on and not watch it. And that's where butter bean Tuesday came in. So now we've got our cream cheese and all well incorporated, and it's time for us to add our beans. You see how creamy this already is? So, you know, we're not going to have to cook them for hours like my grandmother did. She wouldn't soak them. She would just cook them for long hours until all that creamy goodness came out of the bean. But we've already done that, satisfied that with the Philadelphia cream cheese. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add my beans in. Put them right down there in the pot. You see how they cream immediately? That's because we cut down on the cooking time with the Philadelphia cream cheese. And boy, it is smelling so good in here. You guys should just smell it. I wish you could. And then right on top of that, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to add a little bit more of our silly salt. And so now we're just going to cover this. And we're going to let it cook for about 15 minutes. So our beans have been going for about 15 minutes now. And we're just going to check them out and look how creamy they are. All of those wonderful ingredients, and that Oscar Mayer carving board ham is perfect. Look at that creaminess and the ham and those bacon flakes. I use the Oscar Mayer thick bacon. I like that cut because it makes great bacon flakes. So now to that, I'm going to add just some fresh thyme. And thyme is one of the ingredients that's in the silly salt. You can use whatever your favorite bean seasoning might be. I think that the silly salt is just perfect. It's a one-stop shop for everything you need to make a great pot of beans. And now they're nice and thick and creamy. They've only been cooking for half the time that they normally would. And speaking of time, y'all know what time it is, right? It's time to eat. So I like to serve the beans in a little ramekin. So we're just going to go ahead and I'm just going to spoon some in. Whew, look at that, is luscious. Now how could anybody not like this? So now you do know beans about cooking with Philadelphia cream cheese. And I hope you'll be inspired and try my recipe, making an old tradition something new with chive and onion Philadelphia cream cheese. Delicious.